Let's get started with building a train setup. The parts you will need are on screen right now. This is a 12-volt layout. We will not use the railroad crossing as I do not want to use that part as it's a bit complicated. I will explain it. Let's get started by connecting curves. You will need 16 of these curves and you will need 4 straight track. To do a basic overhaul. You can always expand further upon tracks that you already have made. It's only necessary to redo it if you really want to. This is how you connect parts. Get one of those curves, and put them like here and click it. Other side too. Next up, connect straight to the curve. Do this on both sides. Or connect your next curve first. That's up to you. I will now connect my straight part. Don't have to click in. Sometimes they will fall into place, sometimes you really have to press them in place. It's how they are made. It's not sturdy. That's why people sometimes don't like it like that. They are broken, those clips. You can still use it, but you can also replace them. This is a basic oval of 4.5 volt layout. If you want to make it 12 volt, you can do so. Using inner rail. You will need 16 curves to do an oval. That are 16 curves. And if you do 4 straights, you will need 4 straights. Connect them like shown and first do the curves. This will help you a lot. I will show you it if you want to do it on the track right away right now. Slit, place, place. This side now. Slit and place. And push down firmly so they will not come off. Because it's better if they come off, because you have to do it all over again. If you're using 12 volt, you need to make sure your motor does have some pins underneath it. I will show you it right now. This is a 12 volt motor. Look at those pins. Those are 12 volt. And if your motor does have it, mine does not, because mine is a very early one. It sometimes has a red part here that says 4.5 volts. Mine is for sure 12. If it says 4.5, you need to use batteries. You can't use the inner rail then, or you need to keep the power very low. If it says in a yellow box 12, you're good to go. You may also connect them on the ground first and then later lay them inside of the rails. You can do that too. And make sure if you've done a connection, you press that connection down firmly and the previous ones may come loose. And you need to press them down as well. Now we need to do this one. Next curve. I'm doing it now off screen. I will rotate it a bit. Right now it's rotated. I do have all my curves right now are placed. They're all placed. Next up, there are straights we need to do. Get yourself those straights. Make sure it's not a traffic light straight, as they will corrupt the signal between the forward and back end. That's a traffic light straight, and that is very handy to know because the plastic will stop one of the track signals. If you are on the end with the curve, lift up the end of the curve and press them then into each other and then press them down firmly. Do this for the other side and connect those straight parts as well. If it will not work at any moment, try again. Right now we have a 12 volt rails. You can run your 4.5 volt trains on here too, but they will not use the inner rail. Totally not. And now we are gonna connect the track to the transformer. Sometimes they have plugs, sometimes they have wires. Plug the wires into it like shown, and the other end has the same connector. Sometimes it's a bit different from mine because mine are beat up. Put them underneath one rail and the other one do not. The other one you will need to break. Oh, no break. You need to loosen an outer rail to plug it in. Sometimes you will not go in, sometimes you will. Now one is in, the other one is not. Get the outer inner rail out and plug it in too. Sometimes you will spring out like that because they are old and formed differently. Now you have got electricity on the wire when you plug in your transformer. We will do that right now too. Get your transformer out plug and get it inside the wall. Get a 12-volt strain. I'm using 7760 right now. Place it on the track. Place it good on the track. And move your lever. And it will go. You will stop it by moving the lever up or turning the knob to the center. If you want, you can grab yourself a couple of rail cars to connect to the train. I'm gonna get one card out. You can go up to 4 cards. 5 cards is overloading the motor. Get yourself the card and put it good on the track. Move it so the train goes backwards. Couple. And then go forward. Sometimes it will not work. And there you go. Now you have a train. Next up, we will add some switches to our train track. I will use the one with the modified cables, so I have a control panel. It works the same with one like this that does not have cables and a motor inside. This one does have a motor inside, so it's electric. Get your train that you put on the track off the track. And undo one of the sides of the track and very opposite side. Like this one, and the opposite is that one. Undo those. But before you do that, unplug the wall outlet so you do not have any current going through the track. Next up, get those uncoupled like this. And get yourself a pair of those plates. You need to have, if you already have used one, like I do, you already have one. If not, you will need 4 if you want to add the switches. At least one half of the switch. I will do the electric part on the very opposite side of where I sit to control my trains. Get the outer curve off. Move in the electric pins. This is hard to do on camera, so I will put it down. And press them down firmly. If this happens, lift the switch up again and try again. Like this. Now I can click them in place. We have one switch connected. Get yourselves both of those plates, because you got 2 ends here. And get yourself 2 straight track and inner track. This is purely because sometimes the train will derail on if you put it directly on a switch after a curve. Most likely it will derail if you use the curved side of the switch and go that direction, the opposite direction of where it's going. You need to use 2 of those. The inner part does not matter. for the switch. If you have a 12-volt system, you need to use the switch with inner track. If you have the 4.5-volt system, you can use these two, but these cannot be motorized. We will now be connecting the switch to the curve that we have got on the opposite side. Make sure it's on the inner side. That curve we connected first. And connect them. There's a plate on there and get yourself the straight here to curve in, straight now. That's how it needs to be. Do this on the opposite side too. Make sure you do not connect these with these if you are not using it like this. Yes, this is legal, but if you do use a curve that's going from here to here, it's illegal because you're letting plus current go through here and ending up in the minus channel here. That's bad because it can explode that thing. If you use the switches in manual mode, you need to flick those switches. If you use the switches in normal mode, in electric mode, you can press the buttons. Connect a train track from this side to this side. You can also combine the blue area with the gray area. If you use the blue area, you need to use the smooth rail on the inner side and the hard rail on the outer side. You need to leave a 1 stud gap on each side and 4 studs in the middle. Like this. Blue area curves with a gray area center work with each other, and gray center with no blue center with gray error work with each other too. Blue error and gray error work with each other too, as long as it's like that or like this. You can use them too, blue and gray. You can also use fully gray error switches or blue error switches. You can also use the mixed. You can use a gray error transformator, or you can use a blue error. This does not matter to me. It does not matter in the world too. But make sure it's, if you're using the gray error, make sure it is on 12 volt and not 13 volts. If you use blue error center track, you need to remove, if you use gray error outer track, these parts in the curve too. And in the straight too, because they will not fit. If you use those switches on both sides, you need to have one centerpiece more than you have on the inner side. Let's plug it in and get playing. If you're using the 12 volt era and you're using the switch, make sure the wire is going under the tracks and connect them like this. And you need to put a plate on the top. Next up, traffic light. They connect center rails. Connect to center rails of traffic light with plastic parts shown here at one side. Plug them in your traffic and your rail. Next, plug them in the wall. Fix connection issues if you have them. Always plug in left. Set up train and wagon. Have fun playing. lastly, have fun playing. Red, green, green. Thanks for watching.